This conference will now be recorded.
Awesome. All right. So how you guys doing?
Living the dream.
Cool,
How
cool.
about you?
Oh, what's up? All right, we got Travis on here.
You guys working the crap out of me.
Hey, that's a good thing though, right?
I don't get paid enough for that.
So
Oh,
cool.
Robert's
All right.
there.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, what's going on? So, awesome. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. 4 days of training, or I was the trainer, so it's pretty worn out.
Gotcha. I get that for sure. So, Robert, what you got going on during the holidays? I see you went on a hunt.
Yeah, I took the week off and haven't touched my laser in 5 days. I'm kind of having withdrawals at this point. I'll be
Right?
back at it tomorrow, though.
Cool, cool.
What were you
Looks like
hunting,
you're-
bud?
Desert bighorn sheep.
Ooh, you get yourself any?
Not yet. No, we got to go back after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Now, that's just icing on the cake, though. It's fun just to go out and do that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So,
I forgot what hunting's all about. I ain't been in so long.
The joys of owning a business, huh, Jason?
Yeah. I guess that's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, it's
it
like
says in the
hunting for a
manual
new,
anyway.
it's like hunting for a new shipping place.
Yeah, right.
Were you guys talking about shipping?
Yeah, shipping
Yeah.
right now is a pain.
Yeah, it's crazy everywhere. So, hey, Travis, how you doing, man?
Been trying to get stuff from Amy.
Cool, cool. All right. I think this is the first time you've been on here, or at least, all right, all right. So, well, you got some cool things going on up your way too, don't you?
I've got way too much going on.
Right? So, cool. It looks like we got a few new people, so that's good.
Ooh, Katie's already showing the new stuff she's cutting on the new laser.
I need you to make me one of them, Ron.
So, well, this is kind of for the new guys. Good to see all you regulars around here too. But if anybody has any questions, I'm just going to open the floor and somebody pop open a mic and go to it. If anybody has any questions.
Hey, this is Marcus Morgan. I'm brand new,
Hey.
as you said. Currently working off the Glowforge and looking to upgrade.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're getting quite a few Glowforge folks coming this way. So did you have any specific questions or just kind of want to hang around and see what we're all about?
Yeah, hang around, see what you're all about. And,
Okay. All right, cool, cool. Looks like, let's see, Glenn, I've got a few Glens. And I see Eric on here. Jake, have you been on here before?
I have not. I just got my laser. I'm the guy that had the connection, the laser connection issue a couple weeks ago with you.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, there's
Laser
been one
not
or two of
firing,
those, but yeah. All
That
right,
was a
cool.
fun
I'm
one.
glad you could join us. So, but if anybody has anything, feel free to jump in. We don't have too many people. I don't think we'll step on each other's toes too bad. So,
Well, Jake, did your problem get solved?
I did. Brian helped me out, and it was just a simple little connection. The power was not plugging into the power supply, or was not plugged in the power supply. So 45 minutes figured out, but we got it.
That's cool, cool. Yeah, Brian's pretty okay. We don't try to give him too many kudos in helping people out. He loves it when you call him after 10 p.m. though.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, if
that's
I'm up,
10 p.m. my time, right?
yeah, if I'm up getting a glass of water and I hear it go ding and I happen to want to go answer it, you might just get an answer at 2 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, well, cool. I'm glad everybody's with us. Anybody have any questions that they want to fire out or anything we want to discuss? I don't really have, again, I don't usually have a criteria or a curriculum for this. Just usually we've got enough roundtable discussion to keep us going. So.
I guess I had one for you.
All
I know
right,
I
hey,
asked
Glenn.
pretty questions last week. I'll
That's
ask
cool.
some more. So I'm getting ready to, well, obviously my 51 is going to be a while before it gets here, but I'm trying to prepare. one of my things, I know that the exhaust source or the fan should be closest to the outlet.
Mhm.
One of the places I was gonna put it was in the attic and run a cord through the attic. So so then basically it'll go from the fan, the output will go from the fan right out the roof. But the tube obviously will be an 8-foot run about to the machine. Is
Mhm.
that feasible? I'm going to be using also a little more powerful fan. I
Okay.
did get the AC Infinity, the 6-inch,
Okay.
and when I put them side by side to the Hydro Farms 8-inch that I have,
Mhm.
the noise was almost identical.
Okay.
So I sent the AC Infinity back, and I don't think there's gonna be a problem running a 6-inch pipe to the 8-inch. It's just gonna
Right.
it'll be choked off a little bit, I guess. But the CFMs was almost double the AC Infinity. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I
I
think
was
that's a good
hoping that
thing.
the 8-foot run would be okay. Is basically what I
Yeah.
was hoping.
Is it going to be rigid or is it going to be the flexible duct?
Oh, I was gonna use the black insulated flexible deck to keep any noise down, but
Okay.
I could make it rigid if you're suggesting that. I'm not sure.
Now, if you're 20 feet, 30 feet away, from the outlet, I don't know that I'd worry about that. If you went any further, rigid may be better in some things. Just keep in mind, you'll have to maintain that fan. So you might want it accessible enough so you can go up there every once in a while and take it apart and clean all the goo out of it where it accumulates on the fans on the impeller. So,
Trying to get
Oh,
my
right.
camera to align so you can kind of see how mine's set up here. So there's Nova 63 there. It's got a 10-foot of black flex going into rigid, goes up into my sub ceiling. And then if you look, let's see if I can point to it right, there's my exhaust vent. So my fan is actually sitting up in the sub ceiling.
mhm.
So yeah, like Brian said, just make sure that it's somewhere that you can get to it, because I have to clean mine out about once every 3 months. Of course, I'm a heavy laser user as well. So, it all might depend on how much you're actually using your laser there.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great point, because where my fan would be, it would kind of stink to get in there on any type of base, especially being here in Florida in the summer. I've got to actually crawl in there to get to where I'd put the fan, so maybe I need to rethink that. So you're saying 20, 30 feet is okay. So maybe my other choice would still be put it in the attic, but just not so far down towards the soffit area. Keep it up in the
Maybe
middle where I can access
somewhere.
it.
Right.
Yep. Another option that you could have is if you kept your run as short as possible, like if you could keep it around 10 to 15 feet, and then put an inline filter box, which is going to catch all your particulates out of it. Then you're just dealing with changing out a filter instead of having to clean your fan all the time. So that would be another option as well.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea. Now
Yeah,
those filter boxes.
you could build an intermediate filter box, there and closer to the laser where you don't even have to go up there and just slide your filters in and out, probably, if you wanted to get that creative.
Oh no, I'm liking this. Yeah. So, is there any way that we could, or does anybody have any links or anything like that to these filter boxes, or just look up filter box and enough's going to come up?
Any HVAC supplier will probably have them in stock if you're in a larger city. I know up here we use Grainger and Ferguson a lot. I'm sure you probably have Grainger down there. I don't know if you have a Ferguson, but they come pre-made, and you just tell them what size ducting you're running and they'll do it for you. Or you can go to any type of HVAC fab shop and they'll make one up for you.
Okay. Oh, so you're just basically talking about getting the AC material, cutting the wedge out of it and just making a box and then putting an actual AC filter in there?
Yeah, so basically if you wanted to, you could actually cut it all with your laser stuff too, and just cut one out of wood, and just make it so it holds like a 20 by 20 filter or a 16 by 20 filter, something like that. And then just has your 6-inch port on one side and same on the other side, and it's just sucking the air right through. So yeah, you're just basically building a box that you can slide a filter in that's sealed.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's not to be confused with a fume extractor either. This is just to help keep some of the bigger particulates down to reduce maintenance on your fan. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Fume
That's actually
extractors,
great.
you're going to have probably 10 filters with a bunch of HEPAs and everything else in it.
And a
They're
big price tag.
Yeah, yeah. My buddy has
Yeah.
one. I think he paid like
I-
$5 grand for the unit.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely build one. Then I didn't know that's exactly what you were talking about. I thought maybe it was a little more particular than just an AC filter. But yeah, so I'm just trying to catch the big debris then. So perfect.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't need to go like if you use the Filtrete filters,
Mhm.
you just need like their little 1080 series, their little red and white package one. You don't need super fine filters on it. You're just trying to catch the little particulates that are coming through on the smoke and stuff.
Got it. That's gonna my next week's build future then. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool. And looks like Grant has joined us.
What's up?
Hey, Grant's our sales guy, so if you have any questions related to that, you can hit him up. I'm glad you're on here today. So, does anybody else have any other questions? Steve, I see you on here. I muted your mic because there was a little bit of feedback, so I hope you don't mind. You may still
So,
be muted.
power source, is there any special power requirements to run the laser?
Yeah, and I don't have my other monitor up right now. I'm not sure how. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I can pull it up in our support site. There's a power requirements article, and you can pull that up and have a look. I'm trying to see if I can get it to come up. I may be able to. Let's see. But you can just go to support.thunderlaserusa.com. I want to pull it up so I can see it too. I don't want to give you the wrong information. And let's see. This thing's running a little bit slow, running this audio and video at the same time. And let's see. Now I should be able to see it. So I'm just going to look for power. And there's main power requirements right there. So these are the power requirements, not including the chiller. And ever since a little while back, we started incorporating the chiller power into the machines as well, which doesn't change anything. You still have to calculate it the same way. And then there's the chiller power. But what we recommend for most of the installations is a dedicated 20 amp outlet. And that should take care of it. See, they recommend 20 for the 100 watt and the 130 watt specifically, but then again, that's not including the chiller. So we generally try to recommend a 20 amp all the way across the board if that's possible. On the 60 watt, you may be able to get away with a 15 amp. Now, the other option would be putting your chiller on another circuit. And even though it plugs into the machine, there is a way to facilitate that if you need to, so you can, balance your load. So.
Cool, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And let's see. Trying to see if we. And Chris, it looks like you might be new and you had your mic on. How are you? Okay. Well, does anybody else have anything? Travis, ask me a question.
Why is the sky blue?
I think it has something to do with refraction and things, but I'm not real good at that stuff.
All right, fine.
If it doesn't have to do with lasers, I'm pretty stupid if it doesn't have to do with a laser.
Should have asked you why is there fuzz on a tennis ball?
Why is there fuzz on a tennis ball?
Aerodynamics.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Less or more?
It has something to do with the way that you can spin the tennis ball and it allows it to grip the air to curve the ball.
Gotcha. More surface area.
Yeah.
I guess. All right. Well, oh wow. We got all these.
Man. Some newbies got to have a question. You've got.
Hey, I have a question here. I did read I've been having problems whenever I start a file that the dual air assist does not kick in properly. I did read that there's an issue with that. So two questions is, one, what's the word on getting that fixed? And second part of the question is, sometimes when I send the file, it still has the same issue.
Yeah. So as long as you're using send, that sequencing issue is largely taken care of. As a matter of fact, I don't think we have many instances of people saying that it won't act right if you do use send. Now, as far as being a fix, I don't know it's as simple as calling it a problem to begin with. They don't play well together in this respect when it's USB communications, but we haven't really figured out exactly why this is even, happening. There's not really anything wrong with Lightburn, and our controller firmware seems to be pretty solid. I think it's just one of those weird things. But since we try to get everyone to use send, we have very, very few incidents of that happening. So you're saying even when you use send, you're seeing the air assist issue, the sequencing issue?
Yeah, and I've only been at this for a couple weeks, and whenever I use send, I get weird stuff anyways. I assume that I was going to schedule another session with you, Brian.
Okay.
The newbie session to try to work through these little kinks, so I didn't want to take up everybody's time here. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's just I know it's probably just some weird little setting that I keep running into.
Okay. But yeah, we can definitely do that. I'll get with you and we can walk through it. You can show me what's happening, and I'm sure we can get to the bottom of it.
Okay, good deal. So on that same note, I'm looking. I just got my system hooked up. I just need to input my IP network settings. So then it should send through the network. Okay, as well. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And also one other thing, if you're going to be using a network to send to your laser, if you're going to add a camera to your laser, the thing that I did that made it really easy is I hijacked the USB port on the laser, since I send via network. I hijacked that port and used that to hook up my camera. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, that's the kind of the principle behind the ThunderCam. Also, now that we went through that first revision, that first R&D, and that seems to work really well. Do you use the UDisc, or do you use the PC one?
I don't know which one I do. I don't know.
Yeah, we did the UDisc.
It's been a while since I've been in there.
Yeah, we did the UDisc just because so many people still might want to use USB, and not too many people use the UDisc. So we made that one available. But yeah, that's a good way not to have to worry about getting the wiring out of the machine and all of that stuff for sure. So.
Yeah, so I got a question for you and Grant, actually. So two machines that I've been waiting for. I'm just seeing if you guys are still working on. You guys still working on fiber?
Well, yeah. So here's how that goes.
Really?
I said I hinted about it about 2 weeks ago, and then Thunder popped in and said, no, we don't have one yet. And then a couple of days ago, somebody asked, and then Clay said, yeah, coming in 2021. And then Thunder chimed in, they're coming soon. So I guess I can say it. Grant, can I say that?
I think so, yeah. I don't know how much detail I'm allowed to give, but it's coming at the beginning of 2021, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the last information I have too. So it's confirmation on that.
Yeah, and it is a fully enclosed unit. So it's going to be a good one.
Is it going to have pass-throughs?
That I don't know. I know it's got interlocks for sure.
If you have any input, at least for me being up in Alaska, laser engraving guns is huge, but we have to have pass-throughs to get a rifle through there.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm sure there's probably a way to defeat those interlocks when you need to.
I know a trick or two.
Yeah, magnets.
And then the other one is, have you guys given any more thought on that 480 watt laser that I was talking to you about with that quad tube?
That I don't know about.
Yeah, I have no clue at all. That's way above my my pay grade and my mental status.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we don't want to grab too many tigers by the tail at once, because the couple ones we have now are starting to get pretty big. So, but that's definitely.
I'm pretty sure I heard he said 40 watt, right?
No, 480 watt.
Holy smokes! What are you doing? Barbecuing?
Pretty much whatever you want. It's actually a really cool concept. It's a quad 120 watt to actually I think I calculated wrong. I think it's actually higher than that. 130 times 4. Yeah, it's 520 watts. So it's a quad 130 watt tubes that are all encased in one glass tube that can refract in a single point. But you can individually control if you're using 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of the tubes at a time. So you can do everything from engraving to metal cutting.
Cutting mild steel, yeah.
Oh, so if we hear about a neighborhood going down due to a sudden surge of power, we know who to find, huh?
Yeah, or in a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
I've seen him cut. I've seen him cut metal on his Thunder.
Oh yeah, I cut metal on my 130.
Yeah.
Well, I'll need to get with you on that when I get my 130.
Officially, that is terribly bad and not recommended.
Yes.
Unofficially, he can do what he wants. I like his innovation.
Hey, that machine's out of warranty now, so I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet that thing is out of warranty right now.
It is now. If it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. No. If you do end up looking at that, one of the things, and I'm getting ready to do this on my 130, is I do recommend getting a different head for it. You really want one with a ceramic tip that's got the blowback, or I forgot, it's something like blowback or something in there, that it keeps the laser beam from going backwards back into the laser and shooting back into the tube.
Yeah.
So ideally that's what you want, but it's about a $3,500 head.
Yeah. Plus, it's ideally suited for other gases, O2 or whatever. So and with nitrogen for stainless, I think.
Yeah, well, you can use nitrogen on all of them. It's just you just need a shielding gas. But if you're doing mild steel, O2 works a lot better because it makes it cut hotter.
Yeah,
so you can cut a little quicker on it.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm running on mine. I've got mine set up for a dual air on either O2 or my air compressor.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do a lot of welding and stuff, but it would be nice to have something I can cut my own tabs and things out with. But that's a whole nother machine, I figured. So, but that does bring me to one more question, though. One of the things I was thinking about doing, and then I was really nervous about it because somebody said you should never cut on aluminum or anything like that. I have a buggy that I was thinking I've got like the carbon fiber vehicle wrap that's on some of the panels of my buggy.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about taking my laser and basically cutting my name out of that wrap, and then of course peeling the wrap off, exposing the aluminum underneath. But if I cut that material, is that going to be bouncing all over the place and screwing my laser up?
Well, that's kind of like doing a powder coated cup. You kind of have the same thing, but you're not trying to actually cut through it. You're not expending enough beam energy or having enough beam energy there to really get a lot of reflection, because you're using relatively low power to ablate that coating. So it's a little different than trying to cut the steel. If you're just trying to ablate the surface, then you can. Now, you said that was a wrap, and if it's PVC or vinyl based, you probably don't want to do that.
Okay.
To my knowledge, there's only 3 manufacturers that make the carbon fiber wrap, and all 3 of them are PVC based. So and that's 3M, Oracal, and Vivid.
Yeah, I think I have the Vivid actually. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all PVC based with an acrylic adhesive on it. I do a lot of car wraps too. That's why I know that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it through my machine.
It's not good for your lungs, and it'll rot your laser. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm glad y'all told me that. I wasn't even thinking about it being PVC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Maybe I'll look for another source. Maybe I'll just paint them and then do it. If I use if I took it to a powder coater, had it powder coated, then it would be fine then.
Oh yeah.
And then have it just extra. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Or even if it's like raw aluminum or raw metal, you can always get like a Cerakote, or not Cerakote, Laser Bond, the Laser Bond 100 sprayed on there, and then laser it, and it'll turn a really nice dark black.
Yeah, the marking compounds do a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, is anybody else wanting to jump in?
What are your typical lead times?
I'll let Grant answer that question.
I wish there was a stable answer to that. There's just not. We don't have them in stock, so there's not like a consistent lead time. It just depends on what machine you want and just whichever ones we've sold the most of. Right now, most of them are looking like February and March now, and as the weeks go by, it gets pushed back more and more.
Yeah, and I've noticed that ever since I started, we've been kind of on pre-order. It's not that we don't have machines; we constantly have them coming over, and we constantly order. But it's just the demand is so incredibly high that the list just gets longer and longer and longer. And kind of along the same lines as somebody asked this morning about a used machine, and you can tell that Thunder people want to hang on to them because you hardly ever see one, for sale unless they're going to upgrade. So that demand is a pretty strong influencer on how we're able to get these machines to you and how quickly. So
Just to give you an idea, we have 5 containers that are on the way. Well, actually, we have more than that, but the next 5 that are set to arrive in the U.S., I've already sold through all of them.
Yeah.
Hey, mine gets delivered tomorrow, so I'm happy. My second laser, or my second Thunder, I should say. And if anyone wants a Boss laser, I'll make him a hell of a deal.
I almost pulled the trigger on a Boss right before sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. We cut you off at first.
This is Khaki, and my laser delivers on Tuesday, and I'm so excited.
Good. So, hey, do you think you're ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. Rip the Band-Aid off and go.
Well, they're tough, so you can drive it like you stole it, and you'll be just fine. So,
Brian, you want a little bit of story time about your competitor?
As long as we're nice, because I don't try to. Yeah, go for it.
It'll boost you guys up about your support versus Brand X's support.
Okay, Brand X, we got it. Go for it.
So I have a Brand X, which if you're listening, you probably already know what it is. And the other day I went to fire it up. It's our dedicated tumbler laser. That's all it does. And I went to fire it up, better than doornail. And so grabbed out my tech manual, started going through all the safety interlocks and all that stuff. Found that it was a water flow sensor that went bad. So I called up the support line. The guys were insanely rude to me, told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And Brian, probably of all people, knows that I know a thing or two about lasers. But I told them exactly what I did, and they go, okay, yeah, that is the piece. Well, the fix for that, because you have a chiller, you don't really need the water flow sensor because there's one built into the chiller. And so the fix is we want you to take a paper clip and jam it into that pigtail and just leave it there, and that's your permanent fix.
Really?
Yep.
So your chiller is also connected. Your chiller alarm is connected to the Ruida also. So that's just a redundant sensor. I got you.
Yeah, and it's because that's a smaller one. It's a little 14 by 20. And because it's a smaller one, most people, because they don't include chillers stock, they include a tubing and an aquarium fish pump.
I see. So they have an open loop system standard, so that's why it's in there. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So I just thought it was kind of funny that that their support was insanely rude. And then I'm like, well, if I do want to fix it correctly, what's it going to cost? They go, well, we only ship out UPS, and being that I'm in Alaska, it's a $15 part, and they want to charge me another $40 for shipping on it. Which was great fun. But yeah, their permanent solution was to jam a paper clip in the pigtail and bypass it.
No bubble gum?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Never had that stuff happen with you guys. Usually you guys are like, oh yeah, here's what we need. We'll get it out to you.
Yeah, well, we try.
Yeah.
So.
That's great to hear. I have a similar experience with Glowforge, and just shopping around to upgrade, and our customer service is huge.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the way we look at it too. I mean, we like selling machines, but if we have to throttle back, which we won't, I think our support system is scalable and set up in a way that I think we're being able to handle this, because it's been pretty explosive, to be real honest. But luckily the Clay has enough systems in place and enough, forethought to be able to be ready for this. So we have seen a bunch of people come in, but we've been handling it pretty well. I think we've still got plenty of capacity left. So
Yeah,
I'm
you won't be
liking.
surprised with the support. Support is always good. I think I'm the oldest owner on this group probably today.
Probably.
In February, I'm coming up to 5 years. So just to make most of you jealous, I got my laser in 2 weeks. It was air shipped to me. It was a Nova 2460. So it can't be that. 2 weeks to get my laser. But it's been, like I said, almost 5 years. It's running solid still. And even though my support was only 1 year, Brian still helps me when I ask him, hey, I can't figure out what to do over here. It's a big family we have. It's a good family we have. And it's not just the support guys. It's everybody working together, helping each other out. If you are not on our Thunder group for Facebook, you'll notice sometimes, we outdo Brian and he doesn't even answer. Why? Because we already told him he was going to give us.
Absolutely. And the Thunder community is awesome in that respect. Everybody's just great and helps each other. And it helps to have a machine that's standardized enough where you can have discussions, intelligent discussions about speed and power, depending on what wattage machine you have. So, that helps a lot. But without the community, it would be nothing like it is now. So, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. So.
Yeah, the only difference is I kind of envy you guys with all the new gadgets, and I'm still using crankshafts to move mine up and no, I'm just kidding.
Well, you could always break it.
No, eventually one day when I'm ready, I'll probably sell it and get a bigger one, just like Brian said. I mean, 5 years, that sucker is still running as a beast.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will tell you though is, so mine's a little bit of an older one too, and mine's a 63. And I thought I was going to be all slick, and I ordered that dual air assist upgrade kit. I opened the box, took it all out, spread it out, looked at it, threw it all right back in the box. That's a project for another day.
Yeah, that's pretty
a lot
intensive.
more in-depth than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's pretty intensive. I was looking at that, so that's a fun trick.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up probably pulling my laser down probably for a good 2-3 days because I want to shoot a big long video step by step how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So that way there'll be a good little tutorial out there on how to do it the best way.
Sure, absolutely. So, well, if anybody else has any questions or comments, feel free to jump in. So.
Well, hey guys, I appreciate your time. I got to run. I look forward to doing some more research on this.
All right, man. Sounds good. Let us know if we can help. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So. I certainly hope you have a question.
Let me think about that.
We've got quite a few people on here today, so we've been making it go, but we'd certainly enjoy any questions or comments anybody's got. So feel free to jump in anytime if you like. So
I guess I got a comment or just a statement.
Sure.
I know in the past, this is going to be going back to your customer service and everything. Obviously, I don't have my machine yet. I ordered about 3 weeks ago. But usually anytime my wife or I's bought anything big, decently big, and we had to wait for it, usually there's buyer's remorse or, a little bit of apprehension or and I have to say that, I mean, from what I've seen so far, I'm just happier and happier that I did choose you guys. I too was looking at the Ion and the Boss. They're here local pretty much. I mean, they're within a few hours of me. We were going to go and basically take a test run on them at their factories or at their warehouses. And we ended up not. Boss was the one we kind of decided on. And the more and more that I have researched and just their support on here and support other places and stuff, I've realized that I've probably made the right choice. And I'm just thrilled that I don't have any buyer's remorse right now.
Good.
So
that's good.
Yeah, you got.
So we do our best. So.
I will warn you though, it's addictive. Once you have one, you want to get more.
Hey, that's okay. If I start making money with it, I'll get as many as we need. So.
Absolutely.
I'm good with that.
I have my, like I said, I had my third one is getting delivered tomorrow. So
That's awesome. Are you sure you don't want to reroute that this way?
They might
well,
do
I
it
live in
already.
Alaska, so I had to wait an extra week for it on a barge. So
Cool. All
Glenn,
right.
what did you get?
The 51 130. I chose that one because you can put the full sheet in it.
Mhm.
I'm not limited on space, but I mean, it's, of course, the bigger and bigger you get, and it'll, we're putting it in, I don't know if anybody's familiar with what we call a Florida room down here, but I'm putting it in the Florida room. It's kind of she's got a big sewing machine out there and all this stuff. She's got her art room that's attached to it, so it's gonna kind of complement everything. And the 51 just seemed to fit good as far as one of the big machines. So
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you don't put a video up showing this is what a 24 space looks like versus 51, we're going to be good. You put one of those pictures, I'm going to blacklist you out of here.
all right, well, let's see here. Can you see it? Am I on or no?
yeah, I'll drop a little 10 by 10 sheet of wood on my 63 and take a picture.
Uh,
I hate you guys. I hate you guys.
awesome.
You guys see the webcam or no?
How does
No, we can't if you're
nuh-uh.
showing a webcam.
It's not showing. Let me see if
Oh,
I
it's
can.
I gotta click share, I guess. See, I'm not.
There we go.
There we go. So that's where it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Is space there, and it's a big space. So hopefully, I measured and taped it just recently, and I gave myself a little walk space around it and stuff. So it'll definitely complement it. I mean, that's where it's gonna go, and then of course that's gonna move over to this area over here. So that's
Sorry, I have a question. So Glenn mentioned that he's able to fit a full sheet into his 51, but the bedside, I mean the oh my gosh, what is that word? The workspace on the bed, it's like even on the 63, the depth isn't even 40 inches. So if the sheet is a 4x8, how are you fitting a whole sheet in there?
You use the pass through. You can take the rear and front doors off and slide it through the machine. Now you can't work on the entire piece at the same time.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, I figured it was just a pass through, but I was like, how is he? For some reason, I just kept imagining that you're just dropping the whole whole sheet in there and then cutting it as is.
Yeah, we do have a machine that'll do that. The Titan 250. I don't know if they still make it. Fred Britt's got one, but it's a 5x8, I think, or a 5x10 flatbed. And that one will do it. But no, yeah, he's referring to using the bypass and then putting it through the 4-inch direction, their 4-foot direction.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
When you start buying
Amy was getting excited, like, oh, what?
When you start buying full sheets of wood, you've got to kind of watch it too. So like our wood supplier that I use a grade A Baltic birch, but it comes from Russia, and Russia's standard size sheet on Baltic birch is 5 foot by 5 foot. So that's one of the big reasons I went up to a 63, is it's the only way I can get a sheet on the bed. So you definitely want to watch your wood supplier and just verify what size their standard sheets are.
Yeah.
And if you're still buying wood from Home Depot and Lowe's, find a local wood supplier. They're cheaper and have better grade wood.
The price is so different. Price and quality, so different.
Yep. Even being in Alaska, I pay $13 a sheet for 3mm Baltic birch on a 5x5 sheet.
Oh, that's not bad.
No,
that's freaking good.
Yeah, I'll take that off.
How much does it cost to airlift it in?
Well, it's from Russia, so you can see it from your backyard.
Oh, well, that's true. They could just throw it on a boat and send it on its way. It'll get there eventually.
Pretty
Don't
much.
you think they land in Alaska first and then they fly out? So in the process, they drop a pallet off and off they go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Brian, I have a question for you.
Sure.
We're waiting on our laser. It should be delivered tomorrow. But since we were mentioning lumber providers, I live outside of Gallatin, so I'm not 30 minutes away from you.
Okay.
Do you know any local places you would recommend to purchase wood?
Honestly, no. And the reason is I usually don't make anything. If I do get something, it'll be from Amazon just because I need it yesterday for a sample. So
Yeah.
I don't really source things the way other people would, to find that. But I do know that there's a plethora of like little local sawmills and stuff like that peppered all over the place around, Middle Tennessee. And they may be some good stuff for natural woods. And I'd probably, other than that, try some cabinet shops and that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what my local supplier is. They're actually a cabinet supply shop. So they are the ones, they provide all the hardware and specialty woods and veneers and all that stuff for cabinet makers up here.
All right. Thanks for the information.
Yeah. I'm glad to see more people from Tennessee getting Thunder lasers.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So
Need more people in Alaska.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were in charge of that part.
I got one that's like 30 minutes away from me now. That's a start.
That's good. Yeah. So.
Just want to jump on real quick and say we're from Chattanooga too. So.
Okay.
Another
Awesome.
Tennessee.
Great.
We're looking to get a laser. So.
All right. Well, you're close enough. If you want to come kick the tires on mine, you're welcome to.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. We've got a Glowforge right now, and we're looking to upgrade.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you joined us. So.
Yeah, we're currently a Glowforge owner also, so it's kind of your starter, I guess, laser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have their place. People give them a hard time sometimes, but it's kind of like a Cricut. I've got a big Graphtec, and I like it. My daughter's got a Cricut, and she'd rather use it to cut out her little vinyl stuff that she does on Etsy. So they've definitely got a place. But when you get into the same price range, when you can get a Nova 24 for what you can get a Glowforge Pro for, then that's kind of where the buck stops. You say, wow, I can get a industrial grade machine, with the support for that same. So, but yeah, they definitely have a place. I don't diss them at all. I think they have a really good marketing program. I'll tell you that.
That's all I see on Facebook is Glowforge ads.
Yeah. And the BMO is really starting to come up too. I'm seeing more ads about that BMO, that $1,200 K40. That's kind of neat too. Of course, I've built 2 K40s, and I dropped about $1,200 into each of those, which was insane. It was a $400 laser. So, but I knew what I was getting into when I did that.
I looked at those BMOs a while back before I got my laser, and if memory serves, they use a particular kind of wavelength that doesn't cut acrylic or certain colors of acrylic, so you can't cut clear acrylic or blue acrylic, which seemed to be a bit of a limitation.
That's wild. Yeah, I haven't looked at them super close, but yeah, that's kind of neat. And then, also from that Chinese clone world that I came from, you have to mod everything. You have to change the air assist and change this and change that. And that's one thing that we've been seeing even on the Thunders. And I'm even starting to get guilty of it now because I'm making these little kits to put out. But I don't want anybody to think that you have to put all of this stuff that we're adding onto our Thunders, to make them work. They'll do everything they say that they'll do in the specifications with the stuff that comes right out of the box. So I'm worried about, I try real hard to break that stigma between the cheap Chinese eBay lasers and Thunder. And then they see us putting external air and different air assist nozzles and all kinds of stuff on. And I don't want that mentality to stick around. That's a hard thing for me to fight. So we decided to make kits for everything. So if you get an external air kit, this is just basically the same stuff that's in the article, just put all together where you don't have to go hunt it down. And it'll help with troubleshooting and things too, because if everybody puts it in the same way and uses the same stuff, when we go to troubleshoot it later, there won't be as many variables there. Because that's another thing. If people just start going hog wild, doing all kinds of crazy mods to their machines, like putting steel cutting heads on them and things like that, then, it makes it harder on the troubleshooting sometimes because we don't know exactly what's going on. So, but Travis is different. If he breaks his, he can fix it.
Yeah, being up here, you kind of have to learn to do that too.
Right, right. So,
Speaking
Thunder
of
University. I'm sorry, I had a question on the chat thing. I don't look at it enough. They asked about Thunder University, and I actually just, and it's not ready yet, but I actually just got the subdomains working again. And we're gonna have some how-to videos, training modules. We're gonna have a bunch of free stuff. And then we're gonna, none of this matters. I'm just filling in the blanks. And then we'll maybe have some articles and things like that from other people, you know, in there as well. And then while you're talking about that, I also am going to make it a little bit easier to get these parts without having to call and get a request, a quote, and sign things and do all of that. So I'm actually going to do somewhat of a little e-commerce thing here to make it easy to get some performance upgrades and things like that. So we've been working on a little bit of that as well.
So can I do a quick shameless plug?
Go for it, man.
I say, and then also on one of my sites, Mad Moose Labs, we're starting up a full training series on there that's going to get all the way down to how we actually go through and design the files that we prepare for lasers, go into the business aspect, marketing aspect of doing laser engraving and cutting work, a lot of that kind of stuff. We did a quick little, well, it was supposed to be a quick video, ended up being like an hour and a half or something like that. It went way too long. They will not be that long normally. We usually shoot for each learning segment is for between like 10 to 15 minutes per learning segment. And we're going to start doing weekly lives here pretty soon too. And Brian was nice enough to get me access to the group so I can actually stream live to the group as well as my page. So look forward to that. That's going to be coming up here pretty soon, and we'll be throwing a whole bunch of Christmas stuff your way.
Cool. Yep. So, and that's one thing we like to do is leverage our community. If they've got, you know, things like that they want to offer, we definitely want to encourage that. Any information like that's good. So the more the merrier.
We have a little bit of time left, so before we all jump off, so today is day 2 since I've had my 63. My husband won't, he's going to connect the power supply today. That's what he told me. But in the meantime, I'm still needing to like set up that camera thing, the little light burn camera, and I watched the YouTube video for it, but I'm a little confused on how, like, where I should be putting that on the 63, because the video, I think it was a 24 if I remembered correctly, and yeah, the workspace is just much larger.
So you just want the entire workspace? Yeah, we can see Travis. We're watching.
Oh, just right there.
Just right here.
Yeah, you just want it centrally located so that it captures as much of the bed as you can. Now there is going to be an issue with the hinge line because the bed extends past the hinge line on the 63 by quite a bit, and even on the 61 just a little bit. But really what you want is as much of the bed in view of the camera as possible. And so there's really not a right place. I mean, of course you want it above, you know, and centrally located. But that's the whole purpose of the second part of that alignment process is really no matter where the camera is, it will correct for all that when you go to shoot those projections and do those test targets on the second part of the alignment. And we can help you out with that too.
Okay.
So.
I
would also recommend is to go ahead and yeah, we can help you with that. I'd recommend connecting the machine in its basic form before you start adding a bunch of stuff, and just kind of make sure that it fires and get a little bit familiar with it. That way you're not adding a bunch of variables in there. That way, if you do run into an issue, we can, you know, dive down into it a little quicker. So we generally like to encourage everybody to hook the machine up as it came from the factory. Just test everything, and then you can start doing whatever performance options or cameras or mods or things like that you want to do.
Okay, yeah, so would you recommend that I connect the fan that came with it first, or what should I be okay connecting my Infinity?
You'll be okay with the Infinity. Now, you know, that plug on the back only gets power when the TL timer board tells it to, when the
Yeah.
machine starts. So one thing you need to watch out for with those fans is go ahead and plug your fan in the wall and turn the main power on so that it remembers that it's in an on state, because when you pull it out of the box, it's in an off state. So if you plug it directly into the laser, and there's an adapter for that, and I can help you with that, so you don't have to alter your wiring. If you go to turn it on, it's not going to work because you've got to give it that signal initially to turn the fan on, and then it'll retain that. So just before you connect it to the laser, plug it in the wall and turn it on with the controller, and then you can plug it into the laser and it'll be fine. That's the only thing I've seen. But yeah, you can go ahead and connect that. That shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because the camera is really the only mod that I have
Gotcha.
aside from the Infinite.
Yeah, and on the onset, you can just take a piece of duct tape or something and temporarily just, you know, or have somebody hold it just so you can view, you know, the bed, so that you can get most of the bed in the view. And then you can permanently affix it, you know, after you kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
One other thing to keep in mind with the AC Infinity fans, I personally don't like plugging them into the back of the laser because they are a DC powered fan. They have a spool up time on them, and it takes probably about 10 seconds or so for that to get up to max speed.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah, so if you're jumping straight into cutting before it has a chance to spool up, you're going to fill up with a little bit of smoke in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that because I'm so used to turning it on when I turn my Glowforge on, or my other one.
Yeah, there is a little bit of spool up time. Those centrifugal fans that come with the machines or capacitors start quarter horse, and they pretty much get up almost instantaneously. As you know, they have to spool up a little bit. Those inline axial fans do take a little while to spool. So, and there's not a real easy way right now in the software or any of our configurations to cause the fan to come on before we actually send a job. So that's, as far as trying to make an accommodation for that in the configuration, is not a thing right now. So if you want to run it manually, a lot of people do that, and that's fine too.
Okay.
I have a quick question. You mentioned utilizing the USB ports for the camera, which I'm excited about. I never even thought about that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Do you recommend just running it down into where all the circuits are and then just using like a female to female connection, unplug it from the back of the USB stick panel?
So what I did on mine is, so I run it, let me actually, go back over here. There. So what I actually did on mine is, so I've got the cable running down here, and then it comes back forward and then down into the electronics bay. And then I unplugged it from the controller and just used an adapter to plug it in directly. And then on the outside, I just have a small little 3-foot patch cable that goes to a powered USB hub. Because my USB cable is a good 50 feet long, probably. It runs all the way around the perimeter of my room. And so if you are running a long USB cable with those cameras and the feed rate that they have to stream back to the computer, you have to have a good quality powered USB hub. I don't know, is that something that you guys are giving out in those kits still, or?
No, we're not doing the hubs anymore.
Okay.
Typically, if somebody has a long run, we'll either tell them to get a powered hub, either that or those modems. You know, they use a standard Cat5 cable, and those are pretty decent as long as they're powered. So
yeah, anything that's going to inject additional power into the USB is what you're going to want.
Right. Oops, where did it go? Somebody, let's see.
Yeah, but that's
Eric.
only if you're going long distances. I'm just using a standard simple hub, and it works just fine. But I'm like 3.5, 4 feet away from it.
Yeah, if you're using anything shorter than about a 15-foot cable, you'll be just fine without a powered hub.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, every time you add a termination or something in here, or a connector, you know, you're going to get a little bit of loss there. And all of these connectors in the bottom, you know, on the side of the laser, those are just extension cables. That same connector is on the inside in the Ruida controller. And even these can add a little bit of noise and a little bit of loss in this extension cable. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you just need to get your camera plugged into your computer, no matter if you drill a hole or adapt to one of these that are existing. I've seen people, and I even did it myself. I unscrewed these 2 holes right here for the U-disc port and let it fall down and just stuck it out that hole. You know, so whatever works.
Use a 3.0 cable too. It'll also help cut down on the resistance.
Yep.
You can, yeah.
You don't need the it's not about the quality of it, but as far as the image or whatnot, but it's more just the resistance of the cabling is a lot better,
Yep.
or a lot less than a 2.0.
Yeah. And also, Brian, can you pull that picture back up you just had? So I cannot remember what the name is. Those little black things that clip onto the cables.
The ferrite cores, yeah.
Yeah, I would highly recommend running one of those right on the outside of your laser, because the way that the lasers, change the power around, modulate frequencies, all that kind of stuff, it does, or I shouldn't say it does, but it has a high chance of emitting some of that frequency back into the USB cable, which is just going to slow down your connection some. So if you can get one of those, it'll really help clean everything up too. And they aren't expensive at all, and they just clip right on.
Yeah, they've got them on Amazon, so you can get a whole pack of them for $10 there, 20 piece. But yeah.
I always thought that was just a weight to like keep the cord down.
No, it's noise reduction. It's a filter. So cool. All
What
right.
are your thoughts on making putting that, whatever it's called, that thing to be able to connect to the laser wirelessly instead of being hardwired to your computer?
Wireless is not the greatest for the UDP protocol that these controllers use. I've done it and people do it. If you're gonna do that, I would definitely use send instead of start when you send a job. And like I said, I have done it, but you can get some losses. You can get some file failures through Wi-Fi.
Biggest thing I think with that is the EMI that's going through the laser itself has a lot to do with the connectivity of the Wi-Fi, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to try to go wireless somewhat, kind of a neat way, and this is how I have one of my lasers run, is Linksys makes, actually, and that's even how this whole room is run. Linksys makes these little devices that plug into the wall outlet, and it runs a Cat5 signal through your electrical lines in your wall. And it's really handy, and it saved my bacon more times than I can count. But you could just plug one of those in right at your laser, and then you're running Cat5 to your laser. You have the higher connection rate and a more stable connection than USB even.
It's through the regular outlet?
Yeah, it modulates it through the AC current, kind of like the old what were those
Just
old
like-
things? You used to plug them in and it do lamps and all that stuff. You remember all that old home
Just like-
automation stuff? Yeah.
You got the same thing with cable too. You can use electrical outlets to get cable signals sometimes too.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look
Yeah.
into that.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, the biggest thing is what I was talking about with the Wi-Fi. Is some of them have the modules that are real small that you can put inside your laser. That's something that I wouldn't recommend doing because of the EMI from the laser would cause interference with it. But like Blue Moon, I don't know who you are. Your name, sorry.
Travis.
Travis, that's right. But if you run the cable out to what he's talking about, or even just to a separate router somewhere, like mine all comes back to I got a big old router right there that my laser goes into, and you can use that wirelessly as well. Mine's actually happens to be wired though. Hey.
Let me see. It's not pulling up. There we go. And I have an article on that Wi-Fi thing, I believe.
Yeah, I remember seeing that you posting the link for the article, and I was trying to read it when I was putting the baby to sleep the other night, and then because she knew I was on the phone, so she wasn't going to sleep. So then I lost the page.
What's going on? Wi-Fi, adding wireless capability. And like I said, I put this on here because people are going to do it anyway. And basically the same thing. This is just basically turning your laser into a wireless device if you don't have it close to a network or something. But you know, and even Ruida makes one, which this is a rebranded TP-Link gaming adapter is all that is. But they, you know, Ruida actually markets one, even though they know that wireless communication with UDP protocol is not always the best. So you can do it. You may not have any trouble at all. So.
Okay.
I found on those as well that making a static IP instead of a regular, a dynamic, I guess, whatever you want to call it, make a static IP. I know because with one of my other lasers that has Wi-Fi in it, you have to run a static IP, otherwise the Lightburn doesn't pick up on the automatic switch of IPs. Like if you restart it or something happens to where it has to the computer or the router or whatever has to issue it a new IP, Lightburn doesn't pick up on it. So then when you try to connect to it, it doesn't recognize the new IP. So you got to go find the IP and all that stuff. But if you do a static IP, it's easier. It's easier to control that way and a lot more efficient or more successful.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got somebody with. How you doing, Al? Still got you muted. There you go. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
I just I'm waiting for my Mini 60 to come, and I got a bunch of things running through my. Sorry, I was late to the party here, but you're talking about connecting to the laser, and my office back here is about. I would need to do a 90-foot run of Ethernet cable in order to connect. Is that going to be too far for that, or is that going to work?
That should be
use
fine.
Cat 6.
Yeah, use
What's
Cat
that?
6.
I'd use Cat 6 for sure.
Yeah.
And you might be able to boost the signal by using a PoE switch at the end to boost the signal.
And I think Cat 6 is rated for like 345 feet or something for the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's over 300 feet. Yeah,
and you
it's
can
3
also
times as long as Cat 5.
Yeah, and you can also get direct bury Cat 6 too. I don't know about 5. I don't know what your situation is if you have to bury it or whatever, but they also have a direct burial for it too.
Yep.
Okay.
Or there's a little units we were just talking about. I think right before you hopped on, they're made by Linksys. That's a TP-Link, and it actually will run Cat 5 over your electrical outlets. So you just have to be on the same breaker box is all. I learned that one the hard way.
Linksys, okay. I heard you guys talking about that. I was kind of in the incognito mode, and you're talking about that. It didn't really catch the whole thing for that. So that basically just plugs into an outlet.
Yep.
Yep. It's
There you
these
go.
guys Brian just pulled up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stick the link in the comments. Let's see in the chat.
AV600.
And they make a couple different models of it. So this is the 600, which they have one other model. Let's see what mine are. I run the 600s at my house, and they're okay.
Yeah, that would probably work better because I live in a trailer house and I have to drill a hole in the floor and then crawl underneath the skirting and then run it and then drill another hole back in the shed where I'm going to put the laser. And this would be easier. Plug it in and plug it in and plug it in and go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one that Brian had pulled up, that one, it's the AV600. That one is good for going up to about 100 megabits a second. They say it'll go faster than that, but they have another one. I tried looking at mine, but the model number's on the back, and if I unplug it, I'd lose my connection right now.
Okay.
So, and actually, I think it's that guy right there. Yeah, that PA70, and that one is a true 1 gigabit.
And I'll stick that link on there too.
Okay.
In the chat. There we go. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, cool. Do you have any other questions while you're on here?
I guess my only other thought was until I can get all of this set up. I think there's a way to do it USB stick. Download the file into a USB stick and then plug it into the laser. That's a possibility as well in the beginning. There.
Yeah, you can actually in Lightburn, instead of sending it to the machine, let me see if I can just pull up real quick. You can save it as a file, as an RD file. I believe that's how that goes, and put it on a thumb drive, and then you can pull that file up right from the controller. So you do not have to be tethered to the machine, to be able to control it.
Okay. What's the thickest material I can cut with this Mini 60? Is it 3/16? Is that right?
I'll have to look at what the maximum thickness is. I'm not sure. Let's see.
How many watts is that, guy?
40.
It's a 40.
Yeah, you should be able to get through 3mm birch or 3/16.
Yeah, well, there's a maximum depth because it's a fixed table. And
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I want to make sure, see what the specs are on it real quick. Lasers.
I haven't actually been able to see one of these guys in action yet.
Let's see, specs. So 0.4. Close to a half inch. And
close to a half an inch, yeah.
Yeah, 0.4 is the max part size. Yeah, for the thickness. Otherwise, you get up into your you won't be able to achieve focus. So,
okay.
And unless you do something weird with your lens, you might get a 1-inch lens or something like that, and take the nozzle off or something crazy. But yeah, it looks like with the stock equipment, the way it sits, 0.4 inches is the thickest material.
Okay. So. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of questions as of right now, but I'm sure once I get it, be ready.
Absolutely. And yeah, we will be. So we're ready for you anytime.
Thank you.
Let me kill that. Absolutely.
Are you in the Facebook groups already? Hey, Al?
Excuse me?
Are you in the Facebook groups already?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
because,
I'm
always
digging through there. Everything that comes up. So I'm trying to be a sponge, but it seems like a lot of it goes away right away too, unfortunately.
I feel you.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Cool. All right, guys.
That's because we had fun when we were younger.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say that's a big part of it. Shh, don't tell anybody that either. So, well, cool. I'm going to jump off here, I guess. It's a little after, which is fine. If y'all have something, I'll be glad to stay on here as long as you want. But if not, I better get back and get caught up before I get in trouble.
Hey, thank you for your time again, for everybody.
I'll be in touch with you guys soon.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I appreciate everybody joining us today. Hope to see you next week.
Thanks, y'all.
Right. Bye-bye. Bye, Joe. Later, Jason, Travis, Al.
See you.